Jadi falling behind her opponent. Good play here for Janet. And in swinger. Oh, header. And it is a goal. Goodness me. Oh, well. Nasarawa Amazons FC have taken the lead. And it is 1-0, ladies and gentlemen. It's over. That is the full-time whistle, ladies and gentlemen, over and out. And it is not yet another good day in office for Conference PGC. They have lost for the third time in a row, 1-0 to Nasarawa Amazons. And the fans are living somehow disappointed, maybe. Still a whole lot of work to be done by Coach Sabo Okada.
Welcome you on the show, 360 Sport on Trust TV. Adeni Aji Shafe. It's time to take you around the world of sport. You just saw there Confluence Queens versus Nasarawa Amazons. That particular game took place at the Abubakar Audu University in Ayimba, Kogi State, where they pipped the host team 1-0 courtesy of Shobowale, who scored for Nasarawa Amazon in that particular encounter. We'll be looking at the NWFL match day that was played yesterday across different stadia in Nigeria, and also NPFL result. We look at the UEFA Champions League. Well, the big boys really separating themselves right now. Round of 16 knocking, where the draw will be coming up on Friday. But as it is right now, the big boys have really showed their class. Surprise? Well, we'll be looking at that as the show continues. Right now, let's look at the first story we have, talking about the NWFL Match Day 1 wrap, Match Day 3 wrap. For the Match Day 3, Rivers Angels crushed FC Robo. They actually won their game convincingly as Nasarawa Amazon pipped Confluence Queens in Ayigba, Kogi State. That's the first story we're looking at on the show. And right now, looking at these games, all the games that was played on Wednesday across Nigeria, Adamawa Queens, surprisingly, they did so well against Delta Queens 3-0. Confluence Queens lost at home against Nasarawa Amazon. The clip you saw earlier, kudos to Ahmad Emmanuel for that. Atlant Queens 0-0 against Abia Angels. Rivers Angels 4, FC Robo Queens 2. Well, good one for Rivers Angels. They were able to win in that 6-goal thriller game. Benue Queens 1, they lost at home in Lafayette against Bayelsa Queens, who came saw and conquered by 5-1. Ekiti Queens 2-0 against Danas Ladies. And you have Nigeria Tells defeating Ibom Angels 2-1 as Edo Queens play 1-1 against Remo Stars Ladies in that those games that were played across Nigeria on Wednesday there. Well, Ahmad Emmanuel, first of all, I want to appreciate you for at least joining us, and also for that clip that you were able to send through. We appreciate that. So, Ahmad, good to have you on the show.
A beautiful morning to me, and beautiful morning to our viewers across the globe. Thank you for having me.
Okay, good one there, Ahmad. So, we're talking about the NWFL Match Day 3. Well, let's start with the one you saw, the one you actually were part of. Confluence Queen versus Nasarawa Amazon, before we at least digress to other games that were played yesterday. So let's look at it. Confluence Queens were at home in Ayigba, and then they actually got beaten by Nasarawa Amazon, who came visiting by a lone goal scored by Shobowale there. What can you say quickly about this particular encounter?
This is the third game they've been losing in a row. They started the journey, Match Day 1, welcoming Remo Star Ladies right there at the Prince Abubakar Audu University Stadium in Ayigba, and they ended up losing 3-1 after scoring first in that game, and then they let those exacting moment even from the fans. They allow it to just slip up, and they lost the game. They went on the road against Danat Ladies in Lagos. They went there, they saw, but they could not conquer. They lost again. And coming back home, a lot of people were thinking perhaps maybe it was a shaky start, and they might just pick up from where they left it, because Nasarawa Almas was coming into this game yesterday weren't at their best too. So a lot of people were already thinking that perhaps maybe the best result that could come will be a draw for Nasarawa Almas. But trust me, they find their way. Of course, defensive split, if you ask me, and then they had that 3 points just yesterday under Chris Danjuma, who is the coach. Having said that, not for Conference Queens, I think there's a lot of issues surrounding the team at the moment. It's a challenging time, I must tell you. I'll be speaking as an analyst and, of course, as an insider too. I mean, there's no need for us to shy away from these challenges. Number one, this team lost about 24 to 26 players last season. 24 of these players are key players, regular players for the team to, rivals across the league. And then you begin to ask questions. How did that happen? You can't, tie down players when they have 13 offers. That's just the simple truth. These girls left for greener pastures. A lot of people will put it. I mean, when you're earning 80 to 100,000 naira in the team, and you see a team coming with 250 and above, I mean, you have to go. They have family too. They want to at least live big, and that's just the simple reason most of these girls left the team. Also, if you remember very well last season, this team adopted, Iyamo. Yes, they adopted Iyamo as their home ground right there in Edo State. And they did well, at least qualifying for the Super Six. It should have been maybe consolidation if really everything was in place for them to excel. But that's not the story at the moment. And I really do feel for the coach, Sabo Okala. And you must give kudos to him because it's never easy. He has to start again, assembling girls across, local league side and try to build a team again. So for me, this team is on another journey at the moment. And I won't say I'm surprised with the result we're having, but I think with time, maybe those at the helm of affair in Kogi State football can come up with a very, very serious and headlong, program and respond positively to the demands of these girls. Maybe something positive will come up, perhaps maybe mid-season. The stadium is not good for them to play in local. Stadium should be put back into shape. At least the girls can enjoy the home support, natural home support, if I put it that way. Yes, there will be an argument that Ayiba is still in Kogi State, but you can't say compare a team that will just throw from the camp to the stadium to now make another journey of about 3 hours to Ayiba, still claiming that that's their home ground. Psychologically, it's going to affect the girls. So what they did well, from what I watched yesterday, the performance was okay, but the result did not reflect the performance that we saw on the pitch. So there's still a whole lot of work to be done. Like I said, and Sabo Okala, trust me, is not happy because he felt all of the effort that he has put in place, there is no, consolidation, there's no encouragement, there's no way anybody has actually come out to back him up to say, oh, you've done this, okay, let us support you to go a little bit higher. We have teams who were formed after, the Conference Queens, and they're doing pretty well. Edo Queens, for example, Delta Queens, just name them. Even Remo Star Ladies, look at this team came on board, I think about 2 years now, if I'm not mistaken. I was in, Kenya when the owner of the Remo Stars, that was when they qualified for the continent, adopted this team and then changed the name to Remo Stars Ladies. Look at what they're doing today. It was a big battle between them and Edo Queens. It took Edo Queens, in fact, a lot of experience, and some maybe nervy defensive, techniques to at least secure that 1 point. Shows that if you put in something big or huge in a team, you should be expecting the result. Positive one and massive one at that, if you ask me. So I will be saying, or perhaps maybe advise that Conference Queens and the Madness to take a clue. Of course, they're trying, but I think there are still some factors that are really affecting the team. Welfare, the pitch. I mean, the guys are human too. And when they see the rivals coming with something bigger, trying to, oppress them, if I put it that way, it affects their psychology, even on the pitch. But by and large, I would say it's a work in progress, and I'm very sure with time the girls will blend and then they will begin to get the result. I think they need more of a goal poacher in that team. They also need a very good defender, maybe one or two, who are very experienced, that can help guide that defense line. From the middle of the park, they seems very a little bit okay, but I think more better players that will really want to fight and work harder for the team will definitely fortify the team and ensure that they do very much better. But trust me, I mean, if you look deep into my eyes, surely I'm not a happy man with this, current situation of Confluence Queens FC.
Well, there, Ahmad Emmanuel giving us that particular comprehensive analysis of that game that he saw. It was there, Confluence Queens versus Nasarawa Amazons in that particular encounter. Well, big one for the team that actually won. They pipped them 1-0. Another team that won big on match day 3 across Nigeria. We've been with Ahmad Emmanuel, joining us from Lokoja, to give us updates concerning that game and other games across Nigeria. While we continue, well, we just have to listen to the two coaches of the two teams that we unveiled in the video that actually played earlier on, talking about Coach Sabo Okala and also Coach Chris Danjuma. Back-to-back interview, post-match interview coming from the two coaches.
Do I have any excuse? I don't have any excuse. It's just that the game of football is unpredictable, and at times such results can come up. If it comes up, it's just for us to, go back to the drawing board and see where we can improve. And it's not an excuse, but like I said, a team that lost 24 regular players and trying to build up, at times it can be difficult. And this is where I've always solicited that we ask the state government to come in. We can't be building every season and losing players, and it's so demoralizing. We've lost some of our best leg to other teams because of the increment in salary. So at this point, I want to plead with the state government. If we want to be at par with other people, there needs to be an improvement in terms of a pay package. That I'm talking, I might not be an inheritance of that, but anybody that is coming in at least will benefit and will be able to stabilize some certain things in the sports sector, because this is disheartening. It's so painful. After playing in the Super 6 last season, I'm coming to struggle instead of me to fortify the team I had before and see how we can fight for the title. So it's disheartening. It's so painful. It's so painful. But like I said, we'll go back to the drawing board and we'll see what we'll come up with. But I'm optimistic that we've seen teams that have lost like this and come up. Some seasons ago, we had only 1 point in 3 matches and we qualified for the Super 6. So we can see it's still achievable. It's still achievable.
Yes. We needed to bounce back. We needed to bounce back so that we can really achieve our aspiration for this season. So we needed to bounce back. It's not an easy ground to come and play, but we needed to bounce back. Yes, every team is still a work in progress. We are still not there, but trying to get there in terms of mentality and the domination I need in a game and the force momentarily in every department. We're still getting there. By the time we get there, you see more excellent football than this.
The two coaches there, Coach Sabo Okala of Confluence Queens and also Chris Danjuma of Nasarawa United, after that particular goal that was scored against Confluence Queens, the host team there. Well, NWFL match day 3 across Nigeria. We're looking at that game, or rather the teams that have actually participated. 8 matches across the nation. Ahmad Emmanuel, listening to the two coaches, it shows that both of them are still optimistic that things will go better, especially Sabo Okala. While he was saying, well, despite that particular loss, he still believes that his team will do well. I love his spirit. It's not actually casting down at all, looking at the fact that the ladies tried their best, even though they lost that game. Still looking at that particular way of pushing your players to do the best. NWFL match day 3 across the nation. And right now, I think if you look at the NWFL this season, we begin to see the fact that the Women League is now on TV, at least selected matches. How do you feel about this?
It's a massive development, massive, really, if you ask me. I mean, for that alone, I'll give kudos to the board, talking about the league board, who perhaps maybe worked extra hard, to strike this very, very juicy deal with broadcast, outfits, I mean, it feels so beautiful sitting back home and then watch female football on TV. It used to be the guys alone, at the point in time. But there's a little bit of balance at the moment. And I think even the ladies or the girls will be proud. They will be happy. It will inspire them to even do better. Why not? I mean, it has gone into a state that people can watch even from afar, like in Europe, Asia, just name it. And then you can begin to develop interest in one or two players. It will also help anybody that is in charge of any of the national teams, to pick players. You might not be in Rivers State, you might not be in Bayelsa, you might not be in Edo State, but you might have that access, direct access to, pick one or two very good players. They can do the colors of the national team at any level, the under 17, 20, and perhaps maybe the senior national team. So it's a very, very good development, and we're loving it. I mean, it used to be individuals moving around, some people streaming with their cell phones, some even trying as much as they can to like tweet, give update on, other social media platforms, just to at least let people know that, yeah, something is happening as far as women's football is concerned. But this time around, there is an upgrade, a higher one at that, and I think kudos must be given to the board that actually tried to do this. It's a beautiful one, really.
Well, a good one there for the upgrade of NWFL. We begin to see the women football on TV, and it's getting better right now. Ahmad Emmanuel has been talking with us concerning this league, NWFL Match Day 3 across Nigeria right now. Well, for MPFL, let's actually suspend that. Let's look at the big one that happened yesterday over there in Europe. I'm talking about the UEFA Champions League Match Day 8. It was a night of action across over there in Europe, because all the teams were really looking up who is going to drop, who is going to stay on from 1 to 8, then from 9 to 24. Round of 16, number 1 to 8. Well, let's look at this story. You have two Nigerians actually scored yesterday. Nathan Taylor, UCL in that game for his team. Bayer Leverkusen, Nathan Taylor on target, nets as Bayer Leverkusen cruised to round of 16. Aside that, Rafael Onyedika also scored for his team, Club Brugge, but though it wasn't enough, they lost against Manchester City. But really, it was a night of moment of truth for all these big teams, because no one saw this coming, that some teams will be actually struggling to even qualify, making it to between 9 to 24 to play the knockout stage before they even reach that round of 16. But as it is, well, a big one there. Let's have a glimpse of the result of the UEFA Champions League matches play yesterday. Good one for PSG. They were able to win 4-1. You look at Young Boys, Red Star Belgrade, they peeped them, but it wasn't enough to save Red Star Belgrade. Aston Villa, surprisingly, that team, they held their own 4-2 against Celtic. Barcelona 2-2 against Atalanta, despite Ademola Lookman not playing that game. Atalanta came, saw, and nearly conquered. They shared this point there, denying Barcelona the chance to top the table. Bayer Leverkusen 2, defeating Sparta Prague. Bayern Munich 3-1 against Slovan Bratislava. Borussia Dortmund 3-1 against Shakhtar Donetsk. Real Madrid, watch out for that team. They're beginning to rise up, and they won that game 3-0. And you look at Rodrigo scoring a brace there. Well, Dinamo Zagreb 2-1, defeating AC Milan. Arsenal, well, Ethan Nwaneri on song against Girona 2-1 in that encounter. Inter Milan, Lautaro Martinez 1-2-3 goals, making it hard against Monaco. Benfica defeated Juventus surprisingly at home in Turin. Benfica 2, Juventus 0. 6-1 in favor of Lille. Manchester City from behind to show their class against Club Brugge 3-1. They actually crawl to make it to, to the knockout phase. Well, from the way it is now, they have to play the phase, the knockout phase, before they qualify for the round of 16. PSV 3, Liverpool 2. Liverpool at last match, they were almost running away with all the games they play, but they lost the last match. So Salzburg, Atletico Madrid, they won that game 4-1. Bologna won, Sporting won. Sturm Graz, they actually defeated Leipzig by a lone goal, as Red Star Belgrade, Young Boys, PSG 4, Stuttgart 1. Well, Ahmad Emmanuel, big one happened yesterday across Europe. You look at the result on the screen there, you're wondering what really happened to some teams. Maybe they were sleepy, or they underrated the league. What kind of, the likes of Manchester City, we know they actually went deep in form sometimes back. Sometime back, they actually were not at their best, so that is excusable. But really, looking at Liverpool, who were really, although they've qualified before this game, they could not hold their own against PSV. They lost 3-2. Arsenal 2-1 away. Real also won their game 3-0, showing their class. Ahmad Emmanuel, your turn.
Well, for a team like Manchester City, at a point in time, I felt so emotional for Pep Guardiola, especially when Club Brugge actually took the lead from a Nigeria young promising star. That goal alone would have been enough to kick them out of the UEFA Champions League, but they came back. I mean, tried to dig deep and then they got back on track, winning eventually by 3 goals to 1. However, from my own observation, Manchester City, for me, are still not back to that very best that we used to know them. They still need something that will stabilize that form. That consistency is needed. And going into the knockout stages, right? I mean, the playoffs, if I'll put it that way, right now, they should be very careful because most likely they might be facing Bayern Munich or perhaps maybe Real Madrid. And Real Madrid, I would know, a team that has won this trophy more than any other team in Europe, know how to do it very well, especially when they progress, to the next stage, or perhaps maybe the stages that a lot of people will be thinking they will be opting out or they will be kicked out. If perhaps they have actually struggled not to qualify, yes, one will be relieved that, well, there will be a chance for any other team or a new champion to emerge. But if they have their way through, it will be difficult to kick Real Madrid out because they accurately know how to play the UEFA Champions League. And yesterday, we saw what happened 3-0 convincingly with Bellingham and of course Rodrigo securing that point for them. Having said that much, for Barcelona, they look a little bit promising too. So far, so good. If not that, yesterday they were head to a 2-2 draw. Like you said, perhaps maybe if we had Adnan Lukman, they probably would have actually lost that. But then, it did not change anything because they were among the round of 16 teams that will be going straight to the knockout stage, as it is right now, as we wait for the draws on Friday. However, there's still a whole lot of work to be done if the likes of Barca and Man City and even Real Madrid really want to stay through, because I begin to see some very, very tricky teams in this competition, like Benfica, for example. I mean, it's a team that looks very, very deadly. Trust me, watch out for Benfica, but not too many people are keeping an eye on them. So, should any team prepared against Benfica and think it will be an easy ride, they might just get a shortcut. So, the big names in the UEFA Champions League at the moment also know that the higher they go, the tougher it becomes. So, for me, it was an exciting out of football, trust me. Even FC Bayern Munich doing the needful, at least they want to prove that they were used to be champions too. For PSG, maybe they'll be thinking that, well, if they've made a lot of attempts before now, with the UEFA Champions League taking the league format at the moment, maybe they can have a way through, but it's still a long, long journey for any team right now to begin to think that they will be favorites to lift this trophy. It looks very, very unpredictable, trust me. But by and large, we are super excited to watch beautiful football. Goals galore, beautiful goals if you ask me, breathtaking goals if you ask me, and we are happy.
Okay, well, looking at the result of UEFA Champions League, the match day 8 ended, and now the new format that UEFA brought really changed a lot of things concerning this particular competition. So it's new to most of these teams, and now they begin to follow the rudiments of playing the league phase. Now let's look at how the table is after those wonderful performance from all the teams yesterday. Well, as it is, it has been confirmed. From number 1 to 8, they will be qualified automatically straight to round of 16. Liverpool, they play 8 matches. They nearly did all the games, except for the one they played yesterday and lost against PSV. But really, they did well. They scored 21 points from 8 matches with a goal difference of 12. Barcelona, second on the log. Arsenal, Inter, in that pecking order. Atletico Madrid having 18 points, followed by Leverkusen, Lille and Aston Villa. Let's actually talk about this first before we look at 9 to 24. Ahmad, looking at when the league started, no one would believe that Aston Villa, Lille will be able to make it. If you check the history behind all the other big clubs like Borussia Dortmund, Real Madrid, Bayern, AC Milan, PSG, and now seeing Aston Villa, Lille, in fact, that's a surprising moment, right?
absolutely surprising me. Absolutely surprising. Yesterday, Aston Villa started by scoring just 3 minutes into the game. Tells you that they are hungry, tells you that they want to prove something, tells you that they are already sending signals across that if nobody is taking them seriously, it is time to keep an eye on them. Like I said, I actually picked Benfica as one of the teams that people are not giving attention. How about Aston Villa too? Okay, so really, it's a big surprise. Even Lille actually shocked a lot of people. And going into the next phase of this competition, biggest money-spinning football competition in Europe, trust me, they want to consolidate on this performance and prove to doubters that they also deserve to be given some attention. So I would like it though, it's not all the time that we'll predict easily. And so is it Aston Villa? Yeah, forget about it. Villa will take the day. Or is it Man City, Lille? Forget about it. Man City will carry the day. No, it's no longer the way we used to predict. So if you think in that way, or probably looking at it in that direction, you might be wrong. So for the big games, I tell you, if they come across or probably paired against any of these teams that will probably tag underdogs or lowly rated side, they might just get a shortcut because these boys are hungry. They want to make name for themselves. They really want to prove that, yes, qualifying for the UEFA Champions League wasn't a fluke, and they deserve to be there. And that's exactly what they're displaying at the moment.
Well, seriously, looking at number 1 to 8, the UEFA Champions League match day 8. What a surprise moment for Lille and Aston Villa, being able to make it at the expense of the big boys that ply their trade in this team, in this league rather. Well, surprisingly, young man, that's Ethan Nwaneri, Ahmad. The young man has beginning to at least is wearing the big shoe little by little, that Bukayo Saka shoe. It seems Ethan has really come to stay when it comes to playing football. He won the player of the match yesterday for Arsenal. Are you surprised at all?
Not exactly. I'm not surprised. If you follow his progress, especially with Arsenal, you definitely know that he's got a talent. He looks very promising to you. And of course, like you said, the absence of Bukayo Saka, he believes that it is a massive opportunity for him to prove that, he deserves to be a regular starter, for a team like Arsenal. And it can only get better, for a player like this, very, very young, obviously, and considering his age too, then if he maintains this consistency, trust me, Arsenal will be better for it. And perhaps maybe more bigger teams might just be coming for him in the near future. But by and large, I wasn't surprised with the performance because of his progress that he has made to this level. And trust me, like I said, it can only get better for a very young player like he's performing at this highest level and even winning man of the match. Tells you that, he's got something to give.
Okay, talking about Ethan Nwaneri there, the UEFA Champions League match day 8. He won the player of the match and really fantastic. Well, Ahmad, before we go back to that table to look at number 9 to 24, who they'll be fighting for space. Yesterday's games, a lot of games really got a lot of people shocked. Some players actually stood out. Lautaro Martinez seems to be the man to beat over there Inter Milan. He's doing so well, scoring a hat-trick yesterday, stood him out among all the players that performed on match day 8. What can you say about him, Lautaro?
Always delivering, when Inter need him, he's always there. And that's what makes a quality player. Not players that will probably not rise to the occasion when you need them to deliver. Honestly, you have to give it to him. Scoring a hat-trick and delivering for Inter at night, they need goals. Yes, it shows that as an attacker, you just must dig or find a way around scoring. And that's exactly what he has done. So kudos must be given to Martinez. The Argentine is enjoying the best of form at the moment, and trust me, we should also watch out for him. One of the big players to watch out for in the UEFA Champions League. And of course, with Inter, looking promising too, they'll definitely want to bank on him to go far in this competition. He is good, and you have to give it to him.
Seriously, very good player. Lautaro Martinez being able to turn things around for the Nerazzurris there. Okay, we're talking about UEFA Champions League and the surprising moment on the last day of the group league phase. Well, the marathon race they ran, 8 matches, is over now. So round of 16, and we're looking at the possibility of teams meeting. Although before we talk about that, let's go back to that table. Apologies there. Let's look at the table again. 9-24. Ahmad, Atalanta. Well, they were up before. Now they came down, still able to play in the knockout phase, playoff. Atalanta made number 9 on the log. So painful. They were actually among the top 8 before the last day match. And then Borussia Dortmund. You look at Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Milan, PSG, you have Benfica, and you've been mentioning Benfica, people who watch out for that team, Monaco, Brest, Feyenoord, Juventus, Celtic, Manchester City, Sporting CP, and you have Club Brugge, at least good one, effort of Rafael Oyedika, they go in vain. So, this 9-24, we have to fight for a place, and looking at the teams here, I'm sure a lot of people, to some extent, it's a surprising moment for Atalanta, for Real Madrid, Bayern, PSG, Juventus, Man City to be here. Ahmad.
Most definitely, a lot of people will be surprised, including myself. Whoever thought that Real Madrid would be among the teams that will be, going for playoffs? Whoever thought that Manchester City will be among? Whoever thought that even Bayern and even a PSG will be, with Atlanta also narrowly missing out of the first top 8, that will go straight to the knockout stage. So football is dramatic, really, and very, very unpredictable, and that is why people will say it's a game of chance. It's a game of 11 against 11, and the only thing you need is belief to complement your effort and talent that you've got, and then that's exactly what is happening right now. Perhaps maybe complacency, perhaps maybe a little bit of low moment when this new format came on board. It has actually changed the face of this competition, like you said earlier in one of your remarks. But then and again, it is looking very tricky, I must tell you, and that's why I keep hammering on the fact that I won't be surprised too if at the end of the day some of these big names eventually crash out of this competition. I will not be surprised at all. And also, those that made it straight right now to the knockout stage, but I'm not 16, Barca, Liverpool especially, and even, some other very, tricky teams too. They need to be careful. Maybe Arsenal, for example, you will have the best of form, from start to this level, and then by the time you get to the round of 16, then a team that was supposed to be maybe a walkover on paper will just come and give you a shocker. So Liverpool, like you said, almost maintained 100% record without losing, but then they ended up losing last night. And so it is a signal, it's a message to them. So they need to be careful moving forward. Otherwise, they can usually be like a team that went to a tournament, like World Cup, for example, or AFCON, topping the group, and then when they get to the knockout stage, a team that actually probably managed to qualify, kick them out. I hope it can be that, that the story will not be that way. So moving forward, it is good that we'll have surprises in football, and that's what makes it very, very exciting.
Seriously, a surprising one. Even the likes of Brest actually making it Feyenoord, Celtic. Well, as it is right now, from 25 to 36 are out of the competition automatically. Well, as it is, they just have to come another year. Well, for the knockout phase playoff places, the draw will be conducted on Friday. But let's look at the possibilities of the draws, or the teams that will be meeting themselves. Well, like you said, it's a big one for all the teams participating in Road to Money 2025. But right now, it's getting more dicey for some teams who managed to qualify for this knockout phase. The like of Manchester City, looking at 21-22, one of them, either Celtic or Manchester City, will have to face between either Real Madrid, if they qualify, if they're able to make it. You look at it already. This road to this particular knockout phase, Ahmad, is getting much more harder for some teams. Although not that Man City don't have the players they have for their recent performance, people are beginning to look at that team. Can they withstand, even if they are able to escape Celtic Can they defeat Real Madrid or Bayern? But you know, never can tell. Football can be very, very funny. Knockout phase, we're looking at possibilities of teams. Now looking at the way it is, 17, 18, either of them. Looking at those teams there, well, PSG, Benfica, or you have to see all there in the middle. Okay, let's take this together, Ahmad. From this, let's actually look at that Man City. Looking at the current performance of that team, you think they can escape it? If they escape, maybe if they face Real Madrid or Bayern. Attention is really on that team now.
Honestly, a big attention on that team. And even Pep Guardiola surely by now know that the task ahead is a little bit difficult. Difficult in the sense that most of these teams probably have, got back, watched some of the clips, where Manchester City did not do pretty too well. Perhaps maybe try to capitalize on some of their weaknesses too. And that's why looking more dicey as it is. So it is the UEFA Champions League. The name alone tells you that it is for champions. So for Man City to save through, then they need to dig deep. They need to be at their best. They need not to blink at all, because any opposition at this level deserve to be in the next stage too. And moving ahead, like you said, the possibility of Real or Bayern is also a very, very tall mountain for them to climb. So of course, it is Real Madrid who will say, yeah, we know how to do this better, and perhaps maybe Pep Guardiola will also look at it as, yeah, we can do it. Why not? We've done it before. So it's something very, very, if you do the permutation at the end of the day, as a football fans, you just have to just sit back, relax, and smile, because all of these permutations, try to, look at the chances of, teams moving forward will transfer into action. And that's where you see the best of football, when you sit down and watch on your screen. For me, I'm super excited, and I just cannot wait to see this happen.
Well, a tough one there, looking at the way it's going to be. Well, the draw will be coming up, like I said, on Friday. But right now, Monaco, Brest, PSG, they have to, either of them will have to face PSG or Benfica, Sporting. And you look at the way it's going right now, it's getting more interesting. Atalanta, Borussia Dortmund, either of them will also meet Sporting. And you look at Celtic, Man City, either of them meeting Real Madrid or Bayern. Feyenoord, Juventus, or AC Milan, PSV. Well, it's getting more interesting, and teams are waiting. Liverpool, Barcelona, Lille, Aston Villa, Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, Inter, Arsenal. This particular year's Champions League begins to at least get more interesting from now henceforth. But as it is, the league phase is over. So the knockout phase, wait to see where the big boys will show their class. Now, watch out for those teams who always pick up. By the time you just think they are out, they pick up the pieces and begins to do well. Well, we watch out for UEFA Champions League. We've been looking at the results, the table, and the possibility of teams meeting themselves in the round of 16 there. Big one happening in the world of sport. All right, now, before we talk about Boniface deal being collapsed, we quickly look at the NBA result. Games played earlier today. Quickly, let's have the result there. Detroit Pistons against Indiana Pacers. 133 in favor of Pacers. They defeated Detroit Pistons at home. Brooklyn Nets also, they fought hard. They were able to win away against Charlotte Hornets. 83, they lost that game at home there. Toronto Raptors also won their game away against Washington Wizards, while Philadelphia 76ers did well, beating Sacramento Kings 117 to 104. Denver Nuggets, they lost against New York Knicks, who won their game 122 to 112, as Cleveland Cavaliers actually did well, making it extra 20 points to defeat Miami Heat, who scored 106 at home. For Boston Celtic, 122 ahead of Chicago Bulls. They showed their class by being Celtic enough winning that encounter. LA Clippers, they fought really hard, but New Orleans Pelicans came to the game. They won that game 136-128, while Timberwolves won 121 to defeat Phoenix Suns, who actually tried their best to score 113, and Golden State Warriors 116 to defeat Oklahoma City Thunder by extra 116 points to defeat them 109, and you look at how they did it, they actually had a good point there, 7 points ahead to defeat Oklahoma City Thunder. NBA result for you there. Well, for the games, you look at all these games and you look at the teams participating, that this is a big marathon race they are running. It's not easy playing almost every day in the NBA. The players really deserve some kudos, and scoring a lot of points, 126, 136, that's not a child's play at all. Well, Ahmad Emmanuel, well, let's just move away from basketball. Let's talk about a player which a lot of Nigerians were already calculating how much you'll be earning per day, per week, per month, per year. That deal was almost happening. Something went wrong, and I remember that fans of Al Nassr actually raised a lot of eyebrow. They are saying they don't want Victor Boniface because of the injury that is always falling to injury. Could that be the reason why they went for Duran? Well, let's look at that story. Boniface Al Nassr move collapses, set to sign Aston Villa's Jean Duran for 77 million euro. That was almost a near call for Victor Boniface. Mr. Boniface will have done a billionaire. Well, if the particular deal has seen the light of the day, Nigerians were calculating how much you'll be earning. That deal didn't see the light of the day. So painful. Well, 24-year-old Victor Boniface will have just gone there, signed the deal, get his money, and go back to Europe. Look at what is happening to Talisca. He's gone back to Europe right now, and he has made the money quickly in Saudi Arabian League. So, Ahmad Emmanuel, this deal actually collapsed. Were you expecting this deal to see the light of the day, or you were hoping that Duran would get it?
Well, I think when I saw this story, I think I was among those who posted to analyzing what Boniface probably have been earning if perhaps maybe the deal stay through or probably succeeded. But the excuse that perhaps maybe because he's prone to injury, one we want to understand, because I think the Saudi League in general tried to learn their lesson from Neymar Jr. Neymar was almost a pensioner, and he's not really playing football, but he's earning his money. Cool. So maybe you won't blame them. If really the excuse is genuine, you won't blame them at all, But for Boniface, I don't think the injury-prone player that they want attribute to him is that deep enough to now say they won't sign him. Injuries here, one will understand part of the game, I mean, though some players are very lucky, they don't easily get injured, But perhaps maybe those that are really working with, Boniface in terms of the medical crew, they need to look into this. There should be an expert too that will advise him as well how to go approach games, on the pitch to avoid, being injured. But then and again, like I said, injuries are part of the game. But talking about the deal proper, it would have been very massive, It would have been massive, even though a lot of people were already curious asking questions. Why Saudi Arabia? At just 24. Why? I said, if Boniface happens to be my brother, I won't think twice to tell him go and put pen and paper and sign the deal. 2-3 seasons, you're back in Europe, because apart from winning trophies, you want to make money, and that's why you play football. So it will be probably a very good one. Should the deal say through. But I was skeptical too, I wasn't too sure if it will happen. And right now, we're seeing a different story. But then and again, maybe in the nearest future, why not? Boniface might still find his way to Saudi Arabia and cash in, like a lot of people will say.
Well, seriously, looking at this day, even Fabrizio Romano, I'm sure he was also expecting that. He was waiting to say, here we go. But that here we go didn't happen. But seriously, Nigerians were calculating, and looking at the way it is, Nigerian striker won't join the club. Deal was advanced, but never done, as Al Nassr never gave final green light. Well, they went for John Duran instead. Well, they actually decided to pick John Duran, the Colombian. Let's see what they'll be offering them. And for Victor Boniface, there's still chance for him to move, maybe to another club at the end of the season, or he will continue to be with Bayer Leverkusen. He actually returned to the training ground and be with them. I just saw that this will not affect to some extent, but looking at that, the amount of money involved. Well, for Boniface, Another time is there. Other teams will come for him. Who knows? Maybe another team will actually come from the same Saudi Arabia and come with a bigger money at the end of the season. But for this deal, Duran will be having his medical today over there in London for him to be able to move straight down to Saudi Arabia, where he'll be enjoying so much money. For Victor Boniface, we wish him the best right now. Well, quickly before we go, just looking at some transfer story quickly before we wrap it up. Arsenal to submit second bid for Aston Villa striker Oli Watkins. Ahmad, this is the player they want to go for. A lot of Nigerians were hoping that they would come for Victor Osimhen, but it seems they Arteta prefer Watkins.
Yes, it should be, only Watkins, he scored yesterday too, I think, for Aston Villa. Victor Osimhen, for me, I'd never for once believed that Arsenal have what it takes to sign Victor Osimhen, considering a lot of clauses, attached to his deal, his contract, I should say. So if a team is coming and it is Arsenal, I've never taken it seriously, trust me, that's just the truth. So for only, I think they have every opportunity to sign him. He is also a very good player, if you ask me, arguably, and it will boost the attack of Arsenal moving forward, especially when they really want to go far in the UEFA Champions League and also compete and fight for the title in the English Premier League. Arsenal is a team that a lot of the followers sometimes I'm losing belief and trust, because when you see them at the top and then you think it is who already just one team that you cannot even predict, they can even have an on-target against Arsenal who come and defeat them and then they begin to drop points. But then if they can't get early, it will really help the attack and help them moving forward and do better, maybe, just maybe.
Seriously, big one coming to us now. Well, for Watkins, let's see, maybe this will actually happen. It's a deal that could happen before the transfer window closes. Well, before we go, let's just touch on Ajax Amsterdam wants Barcelona midfielder Ansu Fati. They want to go for Ansu Fati. If everything goes well, they could actually send the young star to join them. Napoli rejects €65 million bid for Galatasaray for Victor Osimhen. They want to sign Osimhen, and as it is, that particular deal may not happen. Napoli reject €65 million bid for Osimhen there. Then Torino in a move to sign Chelsea midfielder Cesar Casadei there. Well, that's the last story we look at. Torino in a move to sign Chelsea player there. Well, as it is right now, they try their best to sign him, but everything is not going the way they planned, so they can still come back and see if they can sign him. Well, Ahmad Emmanuel, we want to appreciate you for your time with us on the show. Thank you so much for joining us from Lokoja, Kogi State. Ahmad Emmanuel, special thanks to you for the clip you also at least offered us. Thank you so much, Ahmad. And at least your jersey is looking so so beautiful. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is always mine. Thank you for having me too, and kudos to you and the entire crew. Thank you so much.
Okay, from the entire crew that's made this happen, we really want to appreciate everyone staying glued to watch 360 Sport on the show. Right now we have to go. I'm Adeni G. Shafe. Sport is always business and fitness. Thanks for watching.